Hi, welcome back. And I have got the incredible Julia Gavin on today. As you know, me and Nick talk everything yoga, Pilates, wellness, and I have been talking about my yoga journey for the past year. And to have the incredible Julia on, owns the I know, literally, because all he ever heard is me talking about it and my little journey. So to know that I've got you on, because obviously anyone who knows, especially from Liverpool, will know Julia, because most of you yogis have trained with her. She owns the Liverpool Yoga Academy and Palm Trees Resort, isn't it? Yoga Resort in Goa.
In Goa.
And you are the queen of yoga.
Sunny. Oh, Mama Yoga.
Mama Yoga. And it's always funny because I always say anyone who's first trained, I feel like we've all come to you, and that's when you kind of get your, I always call like Ashtanga, your like kind of your ballet principles of yoga, and then you find your little niche of where you
Fundamentals.
Yeah, I agree. And I always think everyone who's trained, we all start with yourself.
Oh my goodness me.
Legendary.
No.
You are indeed, my darling.
Oh, thank you.
But you know what? Let's start and tell the audience, because obviously you started off as a high school teacher. Is that correct? Or
I was a high school teacher, and then before then I was in retail management back in the day.
And then now full-time yoga. So tell us a little bit of how you come across, because it's very yin and yang, isn't it? When you think about it, you've come full circle.
Yeah, full circle. It's, when did I finish in school? Like 2012, I finished in school. So I was a maths teacher out in Highton. And then my intention was to go to Spain and to go and get a job in an international school.
Yeah.
And then, because we'd like packed everything up, I did a bit of travelling around India, blah, blah, blah. And then just landed in this little beach called Patnem, and was staying right next to a teacher training school. And back then, yoga teacher training was not a thing.
Yeah.
It was unheard of. So I seen this sign saying yoga teacher training on this, like, I think it was on a palm tree, ironically. And went in to see this teacher, and he had a teacher training running over Christmas and New Year. And I was keen to stay away from the party scene. There's a big party scene in Goa. And I thought, you know what, if I go and sign up for that course, that's going to keep me on the straight and narrow, and I won't be distracted by all these parties that were going on, because I'm on my spiritual journey. I'm in India and stuff, and I've been like super healthy and, on my journey. And I did this teacher training, and then just kind of like fell in love with the practice of Ashtanga, loved teaching yoga. I was this teacher, Kranti, I was working with him, saw masses of potential in evolving his curriculum. And just like shoehorned myself into his business, and then worked for him for like 8 years, worked over there running teacher training. So running 200s and 300s, as well as like hosting, yoga holidays on the resort. So there was never any decision.
Yeah,
just to be a yoga. It really did it just flowed, and it just happened.
Because had you done any yoga beforehand, Julia? Or
I used to do, we all know Mohan, don't we? Mohan from the Lifestyles. I used to go to spinning, and then I go to...
Yeah.
It was just yoga back then. It turned out it was hatha yoga, which I didn't know. So I'd go a spinning, and then I'd go for a stretch. And now I was just always in the gym doing legs, bums.
And tums. We used to do back then.
And legs, bums and tums.
I love that you said that you went on your spiritual journey. Were you always quite spiritual, Julia? Or did you kind of go to India on a holiday to kind of find a new way of life, and is that how it happened for you? Or?
No, we just went travel. When I say you're on like a spiritual journey, I think when you have like time out from life, and you're going to go and like reconnect with yourself, that was the spiritual journey. Although back then there was no label of spiritual journey, because I was never that way inclined. It's only now, since I've lived in India for all that time, and I'm in the industry that you know about the spiritual journey, and you realise that, actually that was like a spiritual journey that I was on, was when we were there to look at like different cultures, experience different cultures rather, and have time out from life here, and...
That's it, because especially back in like 2012 when you went, that was probably about the time when you started to see like the likes of like The Secret coming out, and, manifestation, all this kind of world was starting to be kind of introduced to the world. And then it kind of got to then it become like your yoga that you'd start to bring in, and or like kind of like your meditations. And it kind of started to blow up about that time, bit by bit. So you're kind of one of the first to get in there, really, when you think about it. Although it's gone on for years, especially yoga in India with the philosophy of it.
I feel like I did teacher training just at the start of this like escalation of this like yoga, the industry that it is today. It was. Because
it's funny as well, because there'll probably be a lot of people listening, and I was the same before I came to yourself. I'd go to yoga, but yoga was just yoga. I didn't know there was all these different
there's a new yoga. There's a new yoga every week.
And then I'd be like, oh, you're in Hatha or you're doing yin. And I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm just doing yoga.
Yeah, but it was there, wasn't it? I started doing yoga with Mohan in the gyms, and it was just yoga back then. And it was a bit of a stretch class, whereas it's definitely evolved into something more. So I'm like an Ashtanga based, as you know, so that's like quite a powerful practice. And from that, you get the spiritual practice. From that physical, for me, like the physical practice brings about the spiritual practice, because it's time on the mat, isn't it? To home in, to internalize, to kind of pull in from everything that's going on around you, and just work with the breath and move through the postures, and that's what yoga is for me. And I suppose, like after that, you always feel better after practice. It's like going to the gym, you feel brilliant, don't you? So that's like so this spiritual practice for me, it's like that better version of yourself. Not necessarily the best version of yourself. You might know, what is the best version of yourself, but it's a better version of yourself than you were previous.
Yeah, especially with Ashtanga, I think, because like we were speaking with your sister Kate when obviously we were doing a philosophy the other week. Our Kate, our baby.
The baby.
And that's what people don't realise. Before yoga and the movements, yoga was more of a meditative state to kind of get in. The movements were trying to get you into that meditative state at the ends.
Yeah, and it still should be like that, whether you're doing like power yoga or vinyasa flow or rocket or elemental flow or whatever, the idea is that you're on the mat, you're working through like your set of postures, whether that's a set sequence or whether it's something a bit more creative and dynamic. And you're doing that to stop the thoughts and still the mind. A good practice should be that you weren't thinking.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were just talking about, wasn't we? And that's for me. I do. And when I'm on the mat, that's when I start to question my beliefs and values, which is so strange, because obviously, like, whenever you teach me, it's always let the thoughts go, literally home in and that. But then when I'm on it, because like you say, you do just drop the ego on the mat. So when when I'm not touching my toes, I'm thinking, why aren't I getting to my toes? But then you realise it's only probably now a year in, I realise it's a journey. It's not going to come straight away, is it?
It doesn't matter whether you can touch your toes or not, does it? Because it's just kind of like you're working through some shapes and you've got something to concentrate on. That's for me why I love Ashtanga, because like I'm so familiar with it. I put myself on the mat, body just goes into automatic. And it's almost like driving the car home from work. You know, when you get home and you're like, God, I don't remember coming home. I don't remember going down this road, which is en route. It's the same thing. So you put yourself on your mat, you go into automatic, and that's like what's stopping the thoughts. And it's not that, you're deviating your attention from the thoughts, aren't you? On the postures, the drishti points, the transitions, like the physicality of it.
Yeah.
So ideally,
this weekend.
Ideally, the ego. And the ego shouldn't be having like a little conversation with you about it. Oh, you're terrible today.
And it's hard.
You're terrible.
It does,
terrible. What have you done this? What have you done this week? You can't even touch your toes. You could touch them last week.
I can't this week. I'm stiff.
What's happened?
Tired. And it is true, because you'll be on there and you'll be halfway through and you've done probably a million chaturangas, downward dogs, and you're in that downward dog and you're thinking, get me out. But then halfway through, then you're just literally relaxed. Your whole body's just then.
Yeah, but I'm going to say, so on teacher training, it's a 2-hour practice. And I'm going to say, the majority of people must go into a 2-hour practice. And at the start of the 2 hours, you're like, oh, Jesus, what am I going to do? What am I let myself in for now for 2 hours? But I think it's fair to say, though, the practice, whether you spiritual practice, this movement practice, there's got to be an element of, I don't want to say suffering is not the right word, like hardship or like discipline to come to the mat. Like for me, there's no discipline for me to get up and to say, right, I'm going to go and do 2 hours of yin.
Yeah.
And to kind of, that for me is not practice, because I don't know. I don't feel a hardship there. I don't feel a suffering. There's got to be something like, so if you define like discipline as like doing something in the face of adversity. So those 2 hours, so it's the very start of a 2-hour class and you're like, oh God, what have I let myself in for? I could think of a load of other things that I'd probably prefer to do.
Yeah.
Do you rather go and have a cup of tea with a mate and a good old like gossip for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Or go and lay on the couch and watch a Netflix thing, or go and get out in the park, or go for a pint. There's definitely things, but that's what makes it practice.
Yeah.
Otherwise you could say it's a habit.
That's true. And you know what I actually love about the way that you've said that as well, because that's when the yoga practice starts to fall in every other aspect of your life.
Yeah.
Because if you think to yourself, when you come off that Ashtanga mat and you've really put that work in, you start to then implement that into like, I've done it like in my work or in my clinic, or if I'm building a new project, I'm like, come on, focus, put it in.
Yeah.
And that's all come off the back of
Yep.
yoga, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if it keeps you in check, doesn't it? In other areas of life, like some people like to practice like later in the day. I'm a morning person, but I don't have a 9-to-5 job. I can manage my time. I can kind of like practice between like 8 and half 9, or 8 and 9. I like to practice in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's going to keep me in check. Like, what do I eat and drink the night before?
Yeah.
So if I know that I'm going to be on my mat early in the morning, whether that's class or whether it's self-practice at home, I won't have a big dinner late.
Yeah.
I might have a glass of wine, but I wouldn't have like 2 or 3 or the bottle of wine.
Yeah.
It keeps everything else in check. And then I'm going to say, like, after that practice in the morning, those hours afterwards, go and get a coffee, go and sit with whatever work. I am so productive. I will get more done in the 2 hours after my morning practice than I would do for the rest of like a full, a full day. So you kind of like potentialize on the energy that you get from your practice.
No, it's true, because I was never a morning girl. And obviously when I first started it last year with you, obviously I had to kind of come back this year. But oh my God, I remember going home after being up at I was on the pieces. Oh my God, 6 o'clock, I was like that on the bed. But I've noticed now, obviously the past few weeks, I'm up now every day. If I'm not doing a kind of PT or a yoga class, or obviously this weekend I'm doing Ashtanga with yourself, I feel like I get so much more done. Like now it's only 3 o'clock, but I've been up since 6 o'clock and I've done so much. And now 3 o'clock, I'm like, whereas before, and when I didn't have that discipline, the days would run with me and I'd be like, oh my God, it's 7 o'clock and I've still got so much to do.
And then it becomes less of a priority in the day, doesn't it? Because kind of if you haven't finished like your jobs list or what's on the, on the agenda for that day, your movement might get shifted.
Yeah.
Where I think once you're used to moving in the morning, you really miss it.
Yeah.
You really miss it when you don't.
Yeah,
so it's like your preconditions, and if I have to get up like a little bit earlier because I've got something on in the day, I will do that, whether I'm doing an online class or self-practice, or I've got, I'm just like flowing on the mat.
Yeah. So a lot of people will hear different things in the gym, like your flow and your vinyasa and stuff like that, but they all come back from Ashtanga when you look back.
Ashtanga and Hatha, Ashtanga and Hatha. So Ashtanga goes back to like the 1940s, 50s. Pattabhi Jois, he was under the tutelage of Krishnamacharya, and in the 1950s, 1940s, even the practice was very much developed for lads. Yeah, lads possibly going into the army. It was that like turbulent time in India where they were going to kick the rightfully so kick the British out. Yeah, so the practice was developed for like teenage boys, which the practice has clearly been invented by a fella.
Yeah, it's hard when you're on it,
all the stuff on the shoulders. Had a woman have developed that practice, it would have had like way more like hip opening and back bending and some nice pigeon, easy peasy, some nice pigeon in there. Maybe grab a bolster towards the end, but it's not. It's like hard, isn't it? And then you'd have these postures, and then in the shala that was in the Mysore Palace, there was a gym next door. So you got like all like the lads in the gym doing like the burpees and like that kind of workout. Yeah. Then next door was the people doing the lads doing the postures, and somehow that kind of came together because that vinyasa and the Surya Namaskaras. Yeah, they're quite gymnastic.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. But it's funny, isn't it? Because back in the day, it was very classed as like you were selected to do yoga and
Krishnamacharya. So Krishnamacharya got famous because he was curing people through Ayurveda and through yoga. And then he went to the palace, the Maharaja, so like the big cheese in the palace, he was sick. So he'd heard about Krishnamacharya curing everybody through yoga and through Ayurveda. So he calls Krishnamacharya and he's like, come on, fix me.
Yeah.
And he does and then he kind of like gets funding them from the palace. So that was like social media almost. Like if the people in the palace are doing it, then like the minions, they kind of like follow, they follow on. But it was like so gymnastic. There's like loads of like really amazing like black and white footage of him doing all these like crazy, his feet on the back of his head in all these crazy back bends. He could suspend his breath. That was a party piece. He could suspend his breath for like minutes and minutes. So that like got recognition.
Yeah.
So he really raised the profile of yoga, but he was kind of doing it in the palace.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's what it was that Kate said. And I was like, do you know what? Like it wasn't kind of this, it wasn't until it kind of was westernised that it become huge.
Yeah, that's right. So there was a very famous practitioner, Indra Devi, whose name was Eugenie. She was from like Latvia, and she approached Krishnamacharya to be a student.
Yeah,
and she was a Bollywood actress. So she was just having a great old time, wasn't she, in Mumbai? She was on the gin and tonics. She was having a ball there, wasn't she? She was on the gin and tonics with the hierarchy there. And he said no, he wouldn't take her.
Yeah.
He said the idea that she was going to do yoga was fanciful.
Okay.
So she went to the. She would have made a good Scouse girl, actually. She went to the main man, didn't she, the Maharaja in the palace, and was like, can you sort it out with him that I'm his student and I can do yoga?
Because women weren't really doing it at this point, was they?
Not really, no. It was still more like for them. Although Krishnamacharya was supposed to be getting it into the household. So anyway, he was almost forced to take her on as his student. And he was really mean to her. He had it up at like 5 o'clock in the morning and whatnot, doing all these horrible kriyas, which are all like these like cleansing techniques, like threads in your nose, out your throat, and probably oil in ears and all these like water cleansing things that we're doing now, actually. And so she stuck with it. And then eventually he was just like, oh, actually, I see potential in you, not just as a practitioner, but as a teacher. So, so she then developed with him as a teacher. So she was like she was kind of the first Western woman really to have done yoga. So then she was taking like breathwork and meditation into the household, and she was really targeting the women and the mums of the house. Because
she used to be the trainer for Marilyn Monroe, is that right?
She was over Elizabeth Arden, like Greta Garbo, Marilyn Monroe. So she was over there doing all that in Hollywood.
I love that you brought that up, like the kind of, a lot of people don't, because the Beatles were started to get into like yoga. A lot of people,
I know,
kind of from that kind of, who are very, very successful, you see them doing yoga for like...
Madonna in the 90s. If you look back to, remember like the Justify My Love album, if you look back to the videos, she's got a leg behind her head. She's got like all intermediate series moves in there. And then when you look back at the concerts, like she's always kind of like the forward folds and like 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 the Prasaritas, like, doing all the forward folds. So Madonna was pretty big in bringing like yoga over to the But
there's a famous quote that she says, though, is she says if it wasn't for yoga and that kind of system that she implemented, she would have been ate up by Hollywood.
Quite possibly.
Because like she just adds something kind of just to keep her focused.
Yeah, but Madonna, if you think about like the character and the personality of Madonna, she's the kind of person who would be drawn to Ashtanga. It attracts a certain personality.
You've got to be into it, because I remember coming on it last year.
You either love it or hate it, but I love, right, so it's a set sequence, so you're on your mat and you do the same thing. Even might skip a few postures, or but you do the same thing. So for someone like me, I love that. Yeah. But I love to be organised. I've got like a schedule every day. I like rhythm and pace. I like to know. I don't like surprises. I eat at regular times. I'll know what I'm having for me dinner on like next Wednesday. That's the kind of person that it attracts. Yeah. But
I think you need it. I think if anyone going to be a yogi, it's good to have that, like you say, them fundamentals of Ashtanga. Because
it's just such a disciplined practice. Everybody should have to do a bit of Ashtanga on a Monday morning. Get yourself on your mat, do something that you don't really want to do, but you're going to make yourself do it. You're going to do it to the letter. You're going to get every single posture in, maybe a modified version, set yourself up for the week, get yourself back, get grounded.
And then kind of set on your day forward from it. It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So tell me the difference, because obviously you do India, you do Liverpool. So the difference, I kind of like, they must feel so powerful to be training over in India where it kind of first...
Yeah. Okay, like the resort is only, you can go overnight on a bus from just around the corner from the resort, and you'd land in like Mysore where it all kicked off. It's like 14, 15 hours on a bus. Well, the resort, it's where I am is a holiday. It's a holiday resort, you know, it really is. So if you do teacher training with me over in India, you come over for 3 weeks. So you're immersing yourself into a practice. And the people who come over, they've taken like 3 weeks out from everything, really.
Yeah.
If you take yourself away from your home environment, from your routine, from your responsibilities at home, you totally like immersed in practice. And it's a really intense experience. You got to roll with the highs and lows of it because you're doing it every single day. You know what it's like to do 3 days with me. So
literally,
this is like
hard,
3 weeks. This is 3 6-day weeks. But what I love about it, so you know, if we talk about like the modern day yogi, you know, it's all about like observing how you are, trying to stay present. So trying not to be kind of overwhelmed by the ego and the chatter, the mind chatter. So to come over and to put yourself in this like 3 week intensive experience, like some days you're absolutely flying, and then some days you'll be absolutely depleted and you'll want to cry, and you're like, oh my God, I'm like in the most incredible place here and I am knackered.
Because it can bring up emotions for you as well, can't it?
Yeah, it brings all sorts of stuff up. So so you're in this intense experience, but you come together in a group, you're living together, meals are together, you go to the beach at the end of the day together. So you're just rolling with the highs and the lows, but ultimately it's an amazing experience. Come on, your spirit is, no matter where you are, your spirit is lifted when you...
Even coming off the 3-day one, it is like...
In the sun, under the palm trees, doing yoga with loads of people who love yoga. And it's almost like you're taking time out for yourself. And if you think that, you know, on a daily basis, you might have like 20 minutes to yourself in the day to sit and breathe and do your meditation, or to 20 minutes on the mat. You've taken a little bit of time out from your day. This has taken 3 weeks out from like your whole life. Yeah. And it is, people refer to it as like, you know, it's a bit cliche, isn't it, to say that it's like a life-changing journey, but they just go home, or they finish the 3 weeks and they just go back with like almost like not a different perspective, but like a clear perspective.
That's exactly what it is, because you even feel it just off when you're doing, obviously I'm on the summer one over here, but even leaving, not last weekend, the weekend before, you do readjusting, because it's just this burst of energy and enlightenment, and it's like being at a rave and you just like got
you're just full of it, aren't you? You just But that's what happens. So that's one of the big differences in doing it 3 weeks and then doing it at weekends. So you're doing the weekend, so you're just doing it like in the 2-day slots. Then you got like a little bit of time in between to just digest your studies and to practice teaching a bit on your fella or your kid or the mirror, like back at home. So it's over a longer periods of time. So you do get time to digest it. So it fits in nicely with regular life, in air quotes.
So I've not stalked you, by the way, but I know obviously you went to the States because Kate was telling me. So obviously once you were obviously sent then to train over in the United States, wasn't you? So was that very different back then? Or was it more kicking off more than in America than Europe?
We were in Central America. So I was. So I'd been in India for like a good few, I've been in India for 3 or 4 years. I just fancied a change.
Yeah.
So I just flew over to Central America, as you do. And I was volunteering on a surf camp.
Nice.
I rock up at 41 on a surf camp to volunteer, which meant I was just like teaching a little bit of yoga, and I was a host, for the guests and stuff. And I just wanted time out from everything. It was brilliant. It was an absolutely like a brilliant setup. So anyway, saw loads of potential in this resort, like the people who own the resort, Claire and Roman, and then I was hosting teacher training over there, but it was on a surf camp. Now that was a different vibe.
I was fascinated when your Kate told me. I was like, wow. Do you know what I loved about it? You just give inspiration to think, do you know what? If you want to do something, just go and do it.
Yeah, I am a massive believer in don't overthink things.
Yeah.
Like all the decisions that I made, like the decision to just quit life and stay in Goa, not quit life, to just like, to stay in Goa. It was just like, this is what I'm going to do now.
Yeah.
Boom, do it. Yeah, I want to go to Central America. I'm going to go and set up something over there. Just boom, just like go and do it.
And what was it like? Because were people into yoga there, or
it was
a bit of a movement starting?
So over in India, in Goa, it's mostly like Brits and Europeans who go over. So when I'd set that up over there, it was easy actually, because yoga teacher training in Nicaragua, there was no teacher training. Someone had said it's just above Costa Rica. Costa Rica was saturated with yoga. So I was like, right, I'm going to go and see what it's like in Nicaragua. That's why I took the job on the surf camp and then loved it. Yeah, you've got to. So it was just a gorgeous setup, right? But like some days I'd be teaching on a teacher training and they're looking over my shoulder because the surf is up. I mean, I'm like, I should be a brilliant surfer.
I was going to say,
no.
Did you not do any?
No, I was just shouted at all the time to paddle, paddle, you're not paddling. That's that. So it was like Americans they were coming south to come and like hang out. So it was brilliant. I certified a good few like teachers over there. But things just don't translate. You have to kind of like modify it. So all like the chanting and stuff like that it goes down really well. We love chanting in Liverpool. It obviously goes down well in India when I'm over in Goa. It just didn't really translate well. So you just make chanting like a lot less and you can focus on other things. But yeah, it was great. It was a good.
But do you know what? That's really good. It's gorgeous to see. Do you know what I mean? When you said you went at 41, because I think a lot of people think, I'm too old to get into it. I started at 39. Yeah. And I think most people are quite around like 30s onwards that you go, oh, okay, I'm going to have a little try. But obviously it's getting younger and younger now. But a lot of people think, I'm too late to get into it. And you're really not, are you?
Not really. No, not really. I think it was like to go and the unusual thing was I rocked up at this resort to volunteer. Well, I'd just come from like a resort. I was managing like 60 cottages, 20 teachers, 120 guests were turning over every 3 weeks. So I've come from managing this huge operation as well as leading all these trainings. And then I'm there as to teach 1 hour a day at this resort, and they were quite new. The couple who set it up, they were like quite new to running a resort. So I just went in and I was just like, I'm just going to help you organise some things, and I'm just going to do, let's do this and let's do this. So it was unusual, but I wanted time out. So it was a great place to go and like, unwind, and I needed a bit of time out to kind of refocus on where I was going, and what I wanted to do going forward. But
did that give you then the inspiration to bring it back to Liverpool then, Jay, or?
No, so what I did out there, like I built my own website out there and I started to think about like setting up and hosting my own teacher trainings and breaking away from this school, which was in India, which is not Palm Trees, not where I am now. And so it was just a bit of a time to just like refocus on things. Yeah. Teacher training in Liverpool started in lockdown because I locked down with George, lovely George. I locked down with George over, back in when was it, 2020? Yeah. And then it got to August and it was raining. It had gotten into monsoon and I was like, oh mate,
I need to go home.
Off. Stop raining. Stop raining. So then it came back to Liverpool and I just thought I'd be back in October for the season. Nobody knew what was going to happen. And then everything closed down. And then just as the gyms, there was that like October, November where the gyms started to close down. And I there's a lovely teacher called Ronak who teaches in Planet.
Yeah.
And he was like, why don't you do a teacher training in Liverpool? So I advertised it on my social. So all the gyms were closed and all the PTs didn't have work.
Yeah.
So within about like 2 weeks, I had like 10 people who signed up for this like little teacher training. Oh, we had a ball. It was just like brilliant. We like barricaded ourselves into the studio. Studios were closed.
Yeah.
I was in, the loophole I was in adult learning.
Of course.
So all the colleges were all still open. So because it's all registered, it's certified. We bought a coffee machine in, we had a microwave in there. We literally had a brilliant time. So it ran for 4 weeks, and that was the start of the Yoga Academy.
Wow.
It was just Ronak just said, why don't you do them in Liverpool? And then it's gone from strength to strength. So I probably did too many courses in the early days because I was doing like 3 or 4 with just maybe like 3 or 4 people, which was brilliant. And then they just grew from strength to strength.
Yeah. I think one of my friends did it with you back in 2021. That's when she started. Abby Jones, blonde hair.
Oh, okay.
So she did it back then. So then she went to Bali to live in that and
wow.
went through it all. And it's comfortable because that's what I was saying to you earlier, wasn't it? Like it's funny, the yoga community, you all start to get to know each other, or you'll just like kind of align together. Because I was saying like my friend had done yoga with you, and then like I got like Sue out to come and measure for the curtains. She's
famous. Sue Curtains is famous. If you're listening to Sue, she's absolutely famous. Sue and Eileen.
With it.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show again, isn't it? Like, you're never too old to get into it. Go and have a go if you fancy having a bit of yoga. I was 36
when I started practicing.
Yeah.
So, it was, as I said, I was always into fitness, and I was, we was in the gym doing like legs, bums and tums and all that. No, it's never too late. It's never too late. But, it's just, I'm blessed. I've kind of like created something that I can dedicate.
Yeah.
All aspects of my life kind of circle around yoga, whether I'm sitting doing my website updates, my yoga website, or whether I'm teaching yoga or I'm in practice myself. It doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. It's just all kind of like lumped in together as one, as something that I'm, immersed in.
Because it's funny, I remember ringing you last year and saying, I'm going to come on the course, and I didn't have a clue what I was going up to. And I got on that, man. I was like, what about it? Everyone was like gymnasts.
Listen, sometimes in Goa they have people and they arrive and they get presented with a schedule that runs from like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and they're like, when am I going to go to the beach? Like, when are we tanning? So
it is. I think people, you do think that like it's just going to be like airy-fairy, but it's not. Like you say, it's full discipline. You're disciplining your body, especially if you're like me, and you can be a bit like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll do that tomorrow. That's what yoga, especially this type of yoga's done. It's got me strong-minded.
But again, it's like we have loads of people on the course and they don't want to be yoga teachers. They're coming to immerse themselves in practice. So this whole thing about having to teach.
Yeah.
They're like proper nervous, like people like lose sleep over it. And you do, because if you're not used to holding space and to talking out loud, it's massive.
Yeah.
But isn't it an amazing thing to push yourself out of a comfort zone? Because it just encourages so much growth, whether you want to teach or not.
Absolutely. And I think that's what sometimes puts people off, because they see yoga teacher training, you think, oh my God, I don't want to be a teacher. But for me, why I come, I was just like, well, I'm going to the classes, but I'm in a class full of like 30 other people. I'm never going to get to the level of where I want to get to. I'm going to go and put myself on a YTT course. And it's for both sides. I think if you want to be a teacher or you just want to really immerse, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, all like the posture lab. So you're going to get loads from that, because you go into all the details of all the postures. And, I'd like to think that like students figure out why they can do some postures and why they can't do some postures. And what do you need to do to get into those postures? Let's work towards that, without the pursuit of the posture. That's like the modern day yoga. We practice all these things without trying to, or without being attached to any particular destination. So we learn loads about the postures. Then you're going to teach those postures. So that's really checking in on what you've understood from the posture labs. Then there's that like big debate about like the 21st century yogi and what does that mean, and the modern day yogi, or Kate runs all that stuff, doesn't she? And then we just like go into practice, and then you got all the workshops. Shireen, we got like our drill.
That's it. You've got all. Honestly, it's in depth.
Have you met?
Yeah,
you met it briefly last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I think I did a little bit of a headstand course.
So she's just put on the WhatsApp message.
Isn't she?
She's amazing. She's just put on the WhatsApp message to bring socks.
Okay.
For Sunday. Danger.
That sounds scary.
It is scary, but it's scary. But it's
but
amazing.
You know what's
it's
funny
amazing.
though,
It's amazing. She'll have you in all the crazy postures. She really will.
And I think that's why a lot of people look at you and go, I can't do that. But you'll be surprised. Some of the easiest postures I can't do for my life. I've got to practice. Then some that you think, I can't do that. You're in it like that. It's weird,
mad,
isn't it? The way that it happens.
Yeah, but it's understanding like your body's like limitations.
Yeah.
I do a lot of stuff with Andrea. I was in one of Andrea's classes on Saturday, and she said, basically, ultimately, we want to be mobile as we get older. So isn't yoga a great way to, a great way to achieve that, to kind of like twist yourself and push yourself and find your limits, find your limitations as well. In order we can develop like the strength and the flexibility in practice. The Ashtanga is a strong practice, isn't it? Rockers is a strong practice. And
you know what? It's nice with yoga is that it's the mindset that comes with it. Like you just said before, do you know what I mean? We never attach to the journey. And because you never know if the final destination's never guaranteed. You just have to let go, detach.
Absolutely right. A good practice, and it's a spiritual practice. A good practice was that you didn't have thoughts, or you didn't attach to the thoughts. You just can't, it comes up, and it could be, so something really simple, right? What time is coffee? Yeah. So there's a thought that like comes up, right? So you can either spend the rest of your 2 hours on the mat thinking, oh God, what am I going to have? I'm going to have like a cortada, or am I going to go for like what milk shall I have? What milk? I've got my mum up the wall with milk. What milk? I'm going to go on blue. I'm back on blue milk. So you can either kind of like attach to that thought and let it run wild, or it's come up and you go, that's enough of that chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, exhale, down dog. And you kind of like bring it back to the practice. So the best practice is you didn't have the thought, or you weren't overwhelmed by the thoughts. And those people who sat for, the people who can sit for 2 hours in meditation, I can't do that. Sitting 2 hours for meditation, I can't even sit for 10 minutes. I'm a movement meditation girl, right? So one day they didn't just sit for 2 hours with no thoughts. Like they have built and built and built on that. So they've had the thoughts come up. What about the coffee? And they just put it to one side and they've carried on, probably focused on the breath. Yeah. So that's, and it's kind of that if you go beyond the thoughts, you're accessing that like deeper level of consciousness. And that's where you're into the spiritual practice, because that's you. Yeah. That's the spirit of you. You are not the thought. You are not the coffee addict. Yeah. You're beyond that, aren't you? There's a deeper version of you. Yeah. And I feel like that's where I go when I'm on the mat. When I'm on the mat, I go there. Confessions.
You're just like,
I've got confessions of one of my students here.
That's where I go. I'm like, ooh. And then when I do switch off, it's just heaven.
But so what I encourage you to do, so when like the thoughts come up and it's like, oh God, you can't touch your toes this week. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Next posture. Just don't attach to the thought. You can't stop the thoughts from coming up. Yeah. Can you?
No, but I love how like you drop into that, like you say, that consciousness of just being light and the world, just letting go of the world. Yeah. There's no better feeling when you feel that on the mat.
Yeah, absolutely. No better feeling than on the mat. But the mind is just so overactive these days, and it's not getting any less active. There's more things in life to stimulate us and to stimulate the thoughts. Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it, the way the mind has evolved, for the distractions that we have, and overstimulated. So I think practice as well is to recognise when the thoughts are negative as well, because the ego is positive as well. It was the ego that's driven you to do the teacher training. Yeah. It's the ego that drives you to eat healthy. Yeah. The ego that drives you to not have like the third glass of wine. So recognise that it's the ego is positive as well. And I think we're in this industry, you're sometimes at risk of demonizing the ego. God, stay away. You don't want any voices in your head. You're yogi. We want to clear the thoughts. Well, in actual fact, make friends with your ego and recognize when it's taking you in the wrong direction, when it's taking you on like the downward spiral, when there's all like that negative, the inner critic.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. It's just like,
we don't want the inner critic. We want like the inner voice needs to be motivating and positive and taking you in the right direction when it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have times in the day when it's not there. Maybe that's on the mat, maybe not. Maybe it's just when you're doing something like more mundane, like cooking the dinner for the family or washing the dishes or, doing your teeth.
Because is that the purpose of, obviously, whenever we come to the mat, especially obviously in our practice, it's just silent. We don't talk to anyone. You'll give yourself a little winky or
that was a brilliant back bend you just done. I think.
But we always say,
I think you'd give yourself a little couple of seconds of smugness because you've done something and then you move on. Next thing, no attachment.
But I love how you always say in the morning, we don't talk to each other before we get on our mat. And is that just to get us in that meditative space?
We're overstimulated, aren't we? It's for me as well. Like, I mean, I am annoying in the morning. I'm so high, especially if I've got yoga in the morning. I'm going in. I am like, good morning. Like, I can be really hyper in the morning. And then you've got people who aren't morning people. But put that aside. Just have some quiet time.
Yeah.
You got all day to talk. Because it kind of like, it fires you up really. And I think that, Ashtanga, it is quiet in the morning. It is like this traditional practice. So let's kind of just respect it and revel in it and appreciate the quiet time. If I'm teaching Rocket, which is possibly like a little bit later in the day, everyone rocks up like it's kind of party time.
Yeah.
There's hugs, haven't seen people for a while. It's like a reunion and stuff. So it's got like a different vibe and a different energy. But yeah, Ashtanga early in the morning.
Yeah, you feel that tradition with Ashtanga. You come in, you do your kind of your arms, you're chanting, and it's just
that
like
morning chant. It's the lineage, isn't it?
You feel part of it. That it's beautiful, isn't it? So then when you're doing the practice, you come to the end, you're literally just within yourself, and you just think, wow.
I know, and I do. I like to think of like the Ashtanga, the international Ashtanga community.
Yeah.
Is there. And we are a part of that Ashtanga community because we are on the mat doing Ashtanga.
Yeah.
So, and it's you've got like common ground with a lot of people, a lot of yogis who are out there, which is positive, isn't it?
And it's beautiful because I think back in the day, like you say, you'd go to church and you'd have that community. For me, yoga's my little church. Obviously, I believe in the Catholic Church and that's my religion. But when I go into Ashtanga, if I'm feeling down, I want to go to the mat. Whereas back in the day, you'd go to church. Whereas now, if you're kind of like a yogi, you'd go to the mat and you think, I'll let it go there.
Definitely. Absolutely. And then we're blessed with like online classes as well. There's just an abundance. Well, there's an abundance of everything, isn't there?
I think that's all that comes up on my feed. It's just yoga.
I know.
And I'm like, I know.
And then something comes up and you're like, oh my God, what have I said? What was said?
Like going viral.
Yes.
But that's what we want. Because there's not really, like, unless you're on your YTT, there isn't many Ashtanga classes, is there? It's
not a crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
And that's coming from, my business is based around Ashtanga. No, it's not. You'd be lucky if there's like one Ashtanga class on the timetable. People love practitioners. They love flow.
Yeah.
They love movement. They love like playlists. They want newness.
Yeah.
That's why Ashtanga, I teach now over in out in Goa. I had on my schedule, I had progressive Ashtanga.
Yeah.
And it meant that I was kind of teaching with Ashtanga vibes. So there was like the discipline there and like the fundamentals and the foundation postures. But it just meant that I could just like throw a few extra things in just to spice it up a little bit. So,
because I'm doing, is it first series we're doing at the moment?
We're doing primary series.
We'll
do a little bit of intermediate
but
series.
But they go higher and higher. So is that the more intense, like to get more
so
intense?
So if you learn Ashtanga in the traditional way, you'll learn it posture by posture. So your teacher will give you a few postures, you master them, and then you get the next set of postures. So it's you know, you've got this like set sequence. So you're almost like in the hands of your teacher, really, when the teacher says you need to stop there. So you need to master the postures. So there's pros and cons, isn't there? There's pros and cons of doing it like that. I did primary series day in, day out for about 3 years, 6 times a week. And it kind of played havoc with my body, really, because I was just doing the same thing day in, day out. I ended up with really long, weak hamstrings.
Yogi bum.
I had yogi bum. I had a flat bum.
Yeah.
So all that was recognised, and then you start doing like different things. So while I love Ashtanga and I'll always teach it on my teacher training, I don't say anymore it's a 6-day practice. Monday morning and maybe once again in, you know, a section of it like later in the week, and practice other forms.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to train, where can they come to find you? Because
where can they come? We've got the autumn weekenders coming up.
Is that in Liverpool?
That's it. Yeah, that's in Liverpool.
Okay, so they've got that one coming up if they want to train in Liverpool.
Yes.
And then they can either come to Goa as well.
Yes.
Can't they?
Yeah, I mean, come to Goa on holiday. Don't just think teacher training.
Do some classes.
So I think it's. I have like a couple of courses teacher training that run out there, but ultimately Goa is a holiday. It's a yoga holiday resort, and oh my God, it attracts like the most amazing, mostly solo not necessarily single, solo females
that go over.
All want like a strong practice in the morning, nice brunch on the river, and then beach.
But you know what's really nice? You'll probably see it as well coming through, because especially when I've done a few of Andrea's like little classes, men are actually really wanting to get into it now. It is kind of shifting a bit from.
It's still 1 in 10, I think, for teacher training. 1 in 10.
Yeah.
I'm still working, which I don't understand, because Ashtanga is such a male practice.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you can see that it was made for males, because fellas who come into practice, you see fellas who come into practice when they're in their early 30s and they've only ever played footy.
Yeah.
And they've never stretched. And my God, their hamstrings are like so tight.
Yeah.
So something like Ashtanga with all the forward folds is brilliant to loosen up, and then just to get like that shoulder connection.
I know a lot of my friends that we were talking to now, and like you say, they're just proper lads, that they are saying, I wouldn't mind doing a bit of yoga. I think it's changing a little bit. You know, they must be seeing it online and going, all the benefits that comes with it.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. I'm definitely short of fellas in Liverpool doing teacher training, so I'm just going to put
Come across, guys.
Come, guys. I'm just going to put that as a shout out.
Yeah, because then it's a movement in itself, isn't it? Because then they could host the male class. Because I think what it probably is at the minute, because so many girls go to it, your average lad probably doesn't want to walk into a girls' class and feel like.
But then you go to London, and there's loads of
brilliant ones.
I don't want to say it's the northern lads, isn't it? You go down to London and there's loads of lads in class, and loads of male yoga teachers. There's not many male yoga teachers on the scene in Liverpool. No. There are a couple, but they're not. You know, it's the girl, it's females, isn't it?
Could be one of the first.
And then we've got like, you know, there's all the Pilates teachers. Pilates is huge, isn't it? There's the rise of the Pilates.
I think the Pilates has took over, hasn't it?
And the bar.
And I think you're getting a little bit of mixture now, aren't you? And then they're doing the Pilates and they're going, okay, I'll come. Because I was always a Pilates girl about 2018, and I just got bored. It wasn't pushing me enough. And then I got into yoga. But then I think, I don't know, yoga brought me for more of an emotional side, possibly. I immersed myself in that way and healed myself. So it probably, would I have? I don't know. But it was definitely one of the best things for me to come across.
Amazing.
And I'm lucky to be on your course.
Oh my God, I can't wait. So it's TCC tomorrow, isn't it?
We are.
I've got you for a full weekend.
Because it's 30 degrees.
That is going to be discipline. I might say, we're putting a shout out to see if Kate can do it in the park, do some philosophy in the park or something. It's honestly, right the way through the summer last year. Yeah. As soon as there was a sunny weekend, it was. I was in the studio. That's okay. It's fine. I can't complain. I live in a tropical climate for 6 months of the year.
We're gonna
it's more for you guys.
I know. It'll be boiling in planet tomorrow.
It's going to be absolutely boiling. Get them windows open.
I'm telling you. Well, Julia, thank you for coming on.
Amazing.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you so much.
Please let everyone know your Instagram handle, website, because there'll be loads that have probably been thinking, oh, I want to try yoga, but I didn't realise that even the YTT was available to me. Not just even if I wanted to practice for myself. So where can they find you, darling?
Amazing. So my Instagram is Julia Gavin.
Yeah.
There's the Yoga Academy. And yeah, we've got courses coming up. So I've also got like the courses with Andrea.
And they're really
coming
good,
up as well.
aren't they? I think, if you just want to kind of do a 3-day, I'm going to try it, see what it's about. I think they're brilliant. You're in Andrea's little boot camps.
Yeah. So we've got so coming up in June, we've got Unlock Your Spine.
Yeah.
Both of us love back bending. So that's going to be brilliant. And that means, so for 3 days, we have a morning. It's kind of a rocket-esque practice, rocket-esque Ashtanga practice. Then you've got like a couple of hours of anatomy. That's like my thing that I teach. And then Andrea does like a couple of hours of stretch lab.
Because that's what I love about it, because they're like a bite-sized version of what you'd be immersing yourself on if you come and did the full 200 hours, isn't it, really?
But you say like community, like we pull together. It's just, we would like some guys, but in general, it's a group of women who come together for yoga and chats and coffee and learning and to understand the anatomy and to figure out postures. And the last one that we did just last week actually was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So that's in town at 11:11. So shout out for that. There's an adjustments one, and then back in October is the science of stretching one, which is what
I did,
what you did last,
which was a brilliant one to be fair. Brilliant. So that'll be a good one if anyone wants kind of just to try and think, do you know what, I might do that, and isn't quite sure if they're ready for the full 200 hours. I think they are brilliant to try, and then sign up for the 200-hour one next year.
Oh, thank you. What a good shout. What a good shout. So, amazing.
Thank you so much.
Because Claire, honestly, thank you so much.
I'm loving my journey with you girls.
Oh my God, that's amazing. We're absolutely delighted to have you.
Thank you.